handling of the situation in Charlottesville, Virginia. The president held a press conference and blames both sides for their involvement in the rally and spoke out against the removal of Confederate statues. Lebron responded with this tweet: "Hate has always existed in America. Yes, we know that, but Donald Trump just made it fashionable again. Statues has nothing to do with us now." Skip, what's your reaction?
I greatly appreciated what LeBron said and what he tweeted. And ultimately, I greatly admired it. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. This is the one area in which LeBron James has been so much greater than Michael Jordan, who mostly avoided using his platform, Michael's platform, to speak out on any political or social or racial issue. As gifted as LeBron James is at playing basketball, and he's obviously extremely gifted at that, I think he's equally gifted in this area.
Yes.
And I hope post-career he pursues speaking out in this area and whatever job he could find or whatever position he could find to use that platform, because he speaks with courage and he speaks with conviction and he speaks with knowledge. And as he said in his remarks that he made publicly, he speaks with command. He knows what he's talking about. And what I appreciate the most is that LeBron never speaks from a position or a mindset of hate. It's always of love. It's always we. It's always, I love this country and I love everyone in it, and we can be so much better. But it's always, we can be so much better. I'm going to read some of his remarks that he made at the annual family reunion charitable event that he does at the amusement park back in Cleveland. He said, I know there's a lot of tragic things happening in Charlottesville. I have this platform and I'm somebody that has a voice of command. He does. And I continue to quote, and the only way for us to be able to get better as a society and us to get better as people is love. That's the God's truth, man. That's the bottom line to all this. And he goes on to say, it's not about that guy that's the so-called president of the United States. And then he goes on to say, it's not about the teacher you don't like or you think doesn't like you, or it's not about people that you feel just don't want to give their best energy and effort to you. It's about us. It's about us looking in the mirror. He's talking about kids all the way up to adults. What can we do better to help change? And as idealistic as that sounds, that is it, man. That is the crux of everything that we talk about on this show. And I loved him for saying that. And then he went on to tweet about that hate has always existed in America.
Always.
But President Trump has made it fashionable. I don't know if fashionable is the right word. He just made it newsworthy again. It gave legs to it.
No, Skip. And I said this also. I said what President Trump has done is he's made it okay to be openly and blatantly racist, because now
but those protesters have always been there. You just didn't pay attention. They've
used,
always protested.
They used to have hoods.
Okay, but
it's okay now. I can show you my face.
Okay,
I got somebody in the White House that speaks for me.
Well, I think I like showing face more than I like hoods.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. So he made it okay to come from behind those cloaks. He's made it okay to come from behind your computer.
But my whole life, these people, the neo-Nazis and the skinheads and the Klan, they have protested frequently. We just didn't pay that much attention to them.
We've never had a president.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan said, President Reagan said, I will not accept your endorsement. You do not speak for this country.
Okay, so more media are going to cover these protests because of the man in office.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
Yes.
So again, I don't know if it's fashionable, but it's newsworthy.
Think about what he said. He said there were good people on both sides, and both sides came in. Under his argument, the Nazis and the Allies, they were equally culpable for World War II. That's what he's saying. They're equally culpable. By that logic, let me ask you a question, Skip. When we went to war against the Nazis, did we fight that war alone, or did we have allies?
Well, we joined it after they were fighting it.
Exactly.
We weren't there at Dunkirk. They took the losses. The French took the heaviest losses.
Right.
And the British barely survived.
And
without all that, we might be a very different country right now.
It looks like we might be a very different country now from from the looks of things and the way we seem to be heading. Skip, I love it. I admire LeBron James. There's a reason why sponsors put advertisers as their endorsees, because they are so influential. Skip, Muhammad Ali was a great fighter, but I can make a case that Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, some of the great heavyweights, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, was equally as great. It was because of what Muhammad Ali did outside of the ring. He said, hold on, I can sit back, take my millions, drive my fancy car, live in a big home, says America's great while my people are suffering, and appease who wants me to be appeased. Mm-hmm. But while my people are suffering, I can't sleep with myself saying that America's great. And America has some great qualities, but America has some flaws also. And me being a citizen, I should have the right to point those out. I should force America to talk about its past and what it's done and the harmfulness that is done to a segment of society. But you won't acknowledge, so we can't move forward. No drug addict can move forward if he does not acknowledge he or she has a problem. America is never going to move forward until she admits that what they did to the black population, that slavery was wrong, that civil rights and Jim Crow was wrong. Mm. These statues, Skip, why isn't there a statue in Germany of Adolf Hitler? Why are there Nazi swastikas? Oh, the Confederate. Do you understand what the Confederacy was trying to do? They wanted to succeed. And they wanted to say, no, we want to own these. We want people to be property. Just like a house, I own it. Yeah. Just like a horse and buggy.
Just for the record, it was also about economics. In the end, it was about money. But go ahead. That was part of it. But if you read the history, I'm a student of that history.
Yeah, the money. Oh, so
a lot of money involved.
But who was making that money? Who was picking that cotton? Yeah. Who was building that? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you don't want to acknowledge that part, that slavery existed. You don't want to acknowledge that on the backs of these black slaves, that the majority of America was built. You don't want to give no credit for that. So what do we hear? Oh, I get it. All we do is just steal and kill each other. That's what we do. That's what y'all place is in society. Really? That's what you want us to think? That's all we're worth? I know the history. I studied history. I went to a historically black institution, and they did me a great service of teaching me what I didn't get in high school, which wasn't much. Skip, this country was founded on protest. We didn't want to be ruled by British anymore. And what did they do, Skip? They came over here and they fought. They dumped all that tea in the harbor. Why? Because they didn't want taxation without representation. That's a protest. You celebrate something every 4th of July. That's independence. You fought for your freedom. And most white Americans hate black protests. They're not rioting. They're not tearing up anything, Skip. A silent protest.
And by the way, they came here for religious freedom.
Yeah, but
just for the record.
But isn't that a form of protest?
Yep.
And what President Trump has done, he said, Skip, I'm doing away with the political, the PC culture. So whereas before you wouldn't say something to someone because you're like, but now, I'll call you whatever I want to call you. So what? I ain't being PC. I can call you the N. I can call you a monkey. Or I can send you an email with someone eating watermelon. Okay, who cares? President says it's okay. Because like he said, back in the day, somebody did something you didn't like, you just take them outside and beat the hell out of them. Skip, I am so glad LeBron James, his voice, he realizes influential. I wish more black athletes would stand up. I wish more athletes in general, but we can't ask the other side to stand up if we're unwilling to stand. And I love what LeBron is saying. And I know, don't get involved in politics too late. Athletes and politics have always been hand in hand, Skip. We've seen other athletes stand side by side. All I'm asking now, what I would really like to see, Skip, I would like to see the NFL and the NFLPA. You might not agree on Zeke. You might not agree on revenue share, free agency, but come together and issue a statement. We, the NFL and NFLPA and our players and ownership, despise, we do not agree with what our president said. There is no place in America for racial bigotry, the hatred and ideology that happened in Charlottesville. And we stand united as one that hatred and bigotry is unacceptable in America. I would like to see them do that. If you for real, if you say you understand, Commissioner Goodell, you say you understand the other side of the protest, well, now he's talking about something that's very near and dear to you. He said, hey, those people's marching, they didn't say, hey, we want everything to be kumbaya. They wasn't singing kumbaya. They say, this is our land. And Jews, you will not replace us. African Americans, blah, blah, blah. Okay, come on, NFL. Come on, NFLPA. Come together and speak out against what he said.
Okay, so I got to sum this all up.
Sum it
My
up.
perspective of LeBron. Again, big picture, I have always called him, often called him on live TV, the best role model in sports. Just for the record, of late, I haven't loved the language he's used in public because it seems like a shift for me. I don't quite get it, but he's been under a lot of strain inside that organization, obviously.
Correct.
And occasionally I do think he can act childish, but that's in a basketball context.
Right.
In the real life context, he's the biggest star in sports. Real life, speaking out.
Well, they say the true measure of a man is how he treats people who have less than him. And LeBron's always been just the absolute best with that. He's the perfect example of how a superstar should conduct himself, in my opinion. The NFL and the